Hello, everyone, and welcome to this mini seminar on behalf of Spiritualism New Zealand. My name is Kim Chamberlain, and I have the great pleasure to be able to interview Jane Stevens today. Jane is a spirit artist from Wellington, New Zealand. Welcome, Jane. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Okay, let's start off by having a look at some of your spirit art so people know what you're going to be talking about. Can you show us a few examples?
Sure. Yes, I have some here. What I do are basically portraits of people who are now in the spirit world. So in a demonstration, I will be drawing this person, and hopefully they will be recognized by the person who is there in the audience as being their father, grandfather, mother, whatever it might be. The drawings vary a lot. The style of how they're drawn is often quite different depending on the personality that comes through. Some of them are very gently drawn and soft, like the gentleman here, and some are a bit more vigorous, like we had a lady who was actually from a prison, had died in prison a few weeks ago, and that came through quite vigorous, because she was quite a vigorous personality. But that's the kind of thing. They're usually face drawings. Sometimes they're the whole body. It varies a lot. And sometimes there are things connected to that person that are drawn. Like one gent had, he used to always wear a special type of sunglass that went right across his head. And that was the first thing I drew, these kind of shades. And his wife recognized it straight away, as being as being him.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really lovely. Yeah.
Get animals too, people's pets, a lot of small children and babies as well, which is a challenge. Yeah.
I can imagine emotionally challenging, I would guess.
Mm, mm.
So, what's the difference then between a spirit artist and a conventional portrait artist?
Well, I guess the spirit artist is a medium because spirit art is mediumship, really. What you're doing is you're communicating with somebody in the spirit world and drawing for them. You might be drawing them or their house or their something connected with them in order to give information or a message to the person who's here still in the physical world. So that's the difference. I mean, a conventional artist often may be inspired by spirit. Is not to say that they're not. Of course, they're wonderful, wonderful works that are done by people, but the inspiration is for the artist rather than for somebody else. But with spirit art, you're just the medium. You're passing the message through from the spirit world to the recipient with words that go along with it, like with the clairvoyance to describe who that person was, anything about them, and what they want to say, why they've come today, why they're there.
That's lovely. That's really nice. Yeah. And so, how did you get into this? How did you start doing spirit art?
It came as a bit of a surprise. I used to sit in a circle for physical mediumship when I lived in Wales, and I sat there for a number of years. I wasn't the medium, I was just a sitter, but we became quite involved with physical mediumship. But I was also doing a development circle there in the church at Park Grove in Cardiff. And so then one day when I was I used to always want to draw things. Like I would want to draw people's auras, and I would see things in the church, faces and shapes coming out of the walls and all sorts of. I was starting to wonder what was going on, but I never wanted to be the clairvoyant and get up and talk. That's just not me. But I wanted to draw. Then over a period of time, then one day when I was in development circle, something different happened, and I felt somebody grab my hand and draw for me. it just, there was somebody, I don't remember, they had long hair and they were standing right beside me and drawing, holding my hand and drawing. And initially that felt sort of a little bit frightening because
Yes.
it was quite powerful. But over a period of time, I became used to it and became used to working with people who work with me, so that now it's like a partnership, really. But it's still working like that. I don't see something and then draw it. They draw it for me. And then, so each thing that I draw is a surprise to me. And then as I'm drawing, and then the clairvoyance comes through to describe who that person is and give other information that is helpful to identify them, you know? Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
So the spirit world sends you a picture, is that right?
Well, no, not really. That they're there with me and they just take my hand and make me draw it. And often they're shouting out like the colors they want to use, like blue or black
Oh,
or
wow.
and something. And then I pick that up and then off they go. And then once the picture is starting to form, then the clairvoyance comes through, and then I start to give out the information that goes with that person,
Right.
like what they worked at or any details about them that the spirit world want to share. Like with the prisoner lady, there was, she told me that she'd been at Her Majesty's, pleasure in the prison in Cardiff for some years before she passed into spirit.
Wow.
So things like that can help to identify the person, so that it's not just random stuff, so that
Yes.
the person in the audience knows who that is and they can accept that message. Mm.
So did you have to have any special training to do this?
Uh, no, I
Not
don't
really.
not really. See, that's the thing that really is sad because I mean, I had a really great grounding in mediumship and a lots of support and mentoring from friends in Cardiff who have been incredibly influential and helpful to me. But really, when you're a spirit artist, you're basically on a solo course and not really, you've got to work a lot of it out for yourself. I found that a lot of what I know now, I'd have to find out with the help of my guides, and the help of them because each artist is so different. And that's what also it's made me aware of what a lonely life it can be because usually you're by yourself drawing things and you think, well, what's all this about? Is this something that's relevant to somebody? Where are they? Who are they? So I've been very interested in getting groups of artists together, and I'm presently running several circles and have done in the past and workshops up and down the countryside because I just think it's really important for artists to meet with others and also to discuss what they're doing and get any help or mentoring that I can offer them as well, because
Mm.
it can be a bit of a lonely life. And also you don't really know, it's good to get feedback, and say
Oh, yes.
something that's
Yeah.
working and something that's not. Mm.
So do you need to be a good artist to be a spirit artist?
Well, no, not really.
No.
Um, I mean, most people sort of shy away from it because they think they don't draw well enough.
Mm.
Really, practice is a wonderful thing, and if you just practice and keep drawing, that can. But you don't have to be a wonderful artist. Like I'm just thinking about one of my current circles at the moment, and these people in there that are very new to drawing, and other people who are quite skilled. So it doesn't really matter where you're at. I mean, but you feel more confident, I think, if you feel as though you're drawing better. It's,
Yes.
it's usually drawing that people do because painting is a bit challenging in a demonstration setting because paints can go everywhere and be a bit more hard to control. Mm.
So what do you use if you don't use paint?
pastels usually, chalk
Right.
pastels, or coloured pencils. Or some people use charcoal. Got one lady who's quite keen on charcoal, and that's really good too. Something soft that can create effects quite quickly, because what we're trying to do in the circles is work as though they were giving it to people, so they don't spend hours and hours and hours perfecting something. They do it and then we discuss it straight
Mm.
away. So they're getting a more realistic point of view. It doesn't stop them doing their own artwork in their own time, of course, and they can paint and then show us
Yeah.
what they've been doing, and that's cool too, you know. So
So can I just go back, because you mentioned physical mediumship.
yes, yes.
What's that?
Well, there are basically, sorry, I'll just plug my computer in. It seems to be laboring a little bit. Um, there are, well, and I'm being very simplistic here. I know there's a lot more to it, but basically there are two types of mediumship. There's mental mediumship and physical mediumship. And mental mediumship is like where the mind is used only, like clairvoyance and stuff like that. Physical mediumship is where the spirit world actually use the person's body as well. So, you know, like, for example, if they're going to materialize anything, materializations, transfiguration, some trance work too, would come under physical mediumship, because the spirit world are actually using the medium's body as well as her mind,
Mm.
rather than just them speaking. Not that I'm putting down speaking. So with me, excuse me, I'm starting already. With me, yes, it's partly, it is physical, because they're holding part of my body and making me draw, and that's what makes it physical rather than,
Right.
but it is mental too. So most artists have to work on like two channels. So you're doing your drawing and your mental mediumship at the same time, which makes it a bit of a dance, really, but
Challenging. Yeah.
challenging. Yeah.
Wow. And do you have a favorite drawing that you've done?
Um, mm, I have hundreds here
Yeah.
actually. Yes, I mean one of the ones, just a painting, is up there on the wall, but I can I can get it down if you would like me to, but I don't have a favorite drawing of a person necessarily, um,
No,
because
there's been so many.
yeah, there are so many, but also they're also not mine. You know,
Mm.
like they're there for me to give to somebody. But of course, if it's a Zoom thing, I get to keep them because I can only send the image to the person
Yes.
if they're far away, you know. Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Okay. I would like to ask loads more questions, but this is the start of a mini seminar. So just to give people a taste of what it is. So if anyone's interested in taking up spirit art, what would you recommend? What would be the next step?
oh, the best step probably is just to set time aside to work with their art, but in a dedicated way, so that you're working in a quiet place with no distractions, like you don't have the TV on or the phone by you or anything. So you're just concentrating and just open up the mind to the spirit world and draw something. And what that's doing is it's signaling to the spirit world that you're ready there to work with them. And if you can get yourself some colored pencils or some pastels, or if you prefer to paint, that's good too, you know, whatever you like to use, and just set that time aside. At the same time, if you can, at the same time of the day, and on the same day. It's like making an appointment with spirit, so that they know when you're going to be doing it, and it strengthens the connection. And then of course, just practicing your drawing as well is a really good thing. And I'm always trying to get people to do that, but nobody
Mm.
likes to do that, you know, because they've got other better things they would rather do. But You know, it's also a lot of the images that are, you know, if you want to give somebody's grandmother, you have to draw somebody's face, and faces are hard. You know, it's difficult to draw a face that looks like the person that you saw, and it takes quite a lot of work for people to get their confidence up to do that, you know. So that can be. So just practice the drawing and sit down without any distractions and just work with your art, you know. And also you can get in touch with me if they like, and then come into one of the circles. That's good too. Yeah.
And are these in person or online?
Both. So I've got one in-person one that runs down in Mana at the Arts Centre, and the other one is online. So we've got people from Australia and down South Island living in a distant part where they couldn't get to any circle. So it's nice to be able to open it up. You know, I'm hoping to start an open circle in the new year when the times go back, so that we can open that up to people in Cardiff as well.
Nice.
And
Yes.
get everybody, because I've done some workshops and do services for Cardiff, and I've got to know some of the people, you know, well, quite a few of them actually, from when I lived there, and they may like to join, and I haven't really set it out yet, but I'm hoping to.
Very nice. So what I will do is I will put your website details below the video and also your email address for anyone who wants to contact you. And thank you so much, Jane. This has been absolutely fascinating. I've seen you so often at spiritual fairs, but I've never actually seen your work. So this has just been so interesting for me. I mean, and when you see people, you don't always realize the extent of their ability and their skills. So it's been wonderful. Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity, Kim. I really appreciate it, and it's lovely.
Oh, on behalf of Spiritualism New Zealand, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you.